Today we're going to look at our golf course maintenance facility. It's a facility that's 20 years old. Time has passed it by. There's several needs today that I'm going to allow Jake to talk to you about to keep our facility safe, current, best practices, and also to meet the county standards and state regulations that keep this operation running within the law. And it's very simply stated, we can become more efficient, and for minimal expense, we can bring this operation up to current standards.
So the structure that we're standing under today is the chemical storage and mixing and loading area. Our main problem right now is we're dealing with a drain that does have seepage that tends to leak water and rinse it out into the ground. Our solution to this is going to be a recyclable sump tank where any water that goes down the drain, it's going to get put into a reservoir tank to where we can then load it into a sprayer, go spray it out on the golf course or anywhere we see feasible rinsing a sprayer out. You'll also notice that we're in an open and with a roof over the top. The new structure that we're looking at having, it will be all enclosed with a double garage door system to where we can store about $75,000 worth of spray equipment in them. Right now they're sitting outside, they're collecting elements, salt air, just deteriorating, not being kept under a closed door facility. Well, it's going to be anything that drips out of the hose, anytime there's an accident of a chemical spill that happens to just fall on the ground, which rarely happens, or the hose coming off of the spray rig leaking onto the ground. So it's not like it's being filled up constantly, it's just more of a preventative thing. You don't want it to leach out into the ground if there happens to be a chemical spill in this area. So this is one of our spray equipments that we use for greens, tees, and approaches. It's about 4 years old now. Just from having it sit outside and not protected from the elements, this is kind of the condition that we see it eventually come into. Again, with that new structure, it'll be enclosed. It'll have a double garage door. We'll be able to secure that equipment so it's better protected. Where we're at right now is the sand storage area. As you can see, we have a lot of sand that is contaminated with bigger rocks, weeds, different colors of sand. Our issue with this is none of this sand can be used out on the golf course other than natural soil. I can't go put this in a bunker, I can't go put this out on greens or tees and fairways just because it is contaminated with different aggregates of sand. With the new structure that we would have a covered bag sand storage here. The point of having bag sand is for light top dressing greens. That sand is pulled from the mine, thrown into an oven to dry, and then sacked up and then delivered to us to use. If that sand gets wet, it does not cycle through the equipment properly and it clogs it up. So therefore, we just wasted our top dressing sand for greens. With that covered bag sand storage, we're able to store it inside this garage to keep it dry and out of the rain and humidity. Right now it's sitting in our fertilizer room. Anytime we get bulk fertilizer, we have to pull that fertilizer out to store the sand in there, as it takes a little more priority than what the bulk fertilizer is. Moving off to the right, we're going to have 3 covered sand storage bins. Each one has its own purpose. Again, it's preventing any contamination. One will be designated for green sand, another one for bunker sand, and then another miscellaneous sand pile for top dressing tees and approaches, fairways, what other sand we can put in there. Anytime we get a large downpour of rain, that sand continues to wash out onto the concrete, and we happen to have a drain that's not too far away from here that leads out to the lake on number 12. Again, anytime we have a large rainfall, that sand can go into that drain and then out to the lake on number 12. Where we're at right now is our current washdown station. Back to our tri-building facility, the sole purpose with that is to have that recyclable water system. Before we come on to our wash pad right now, we like to blow off the equipment to get as much debris and sand and sediments off of it before coming onto this wash pad. That way we can, again, get all that debris off. And then once we come onto our current wash pad, the associates wash down the equipment and that water and sediment goes down into the drain and out the back into the preserve. With this new facility, it'll have a recyclable water reservoir tank. So when the equipment gets done being blown off, it'll go on to the wash pad, get washed down. That water goes into a sump drain and it gets pumped back into that reservoir tank where it is cleaned by using microbes and combs, and it's ready for the next associate to come onto the wash pad and clean their equipment. With this wash pad right now, it's just directly tied into the city water, so we're using that water and it's not being reused again like the new system would be. So what we're looking at here is our current situation with our trash and recycle enclosures. So with the new county code for trash and recyclables, it's the code to have them enclosed with a double gate in front and bollards protecting them. So where we're standing right now is next to our current debris and waste pile. We do have a drain here that goes out to the lake on number 12. Again, environmentally, it's not what we wanted to see. As anytime it does rain, it will take any debris, grass clippings and such with it out to the lake on 12. With our new enclosure, it's going to contain all that debris in one location so that when we have a contractor come in and load out all the debris, they can just pull up next to it, stationary, and load up their trucks and haul it off for us. Where we're at right now is our current fertilizer storage facility. It's connected to the rest of the building, the main building that houses our $1.1 million worth of equipment. The current square footage that we have right now is 750 square feet, and as you can see, it's pretty jam-packed to a point where if I get any bulk fertilizer, I have to store it outside. The purpose of having bulk fertilizer is it is cheaper for us to buy, but again, once that comes in, I don't have room to put it in here, so it has to sit outside. The other issue that we have is the fire department has told us that they will not put this building out if it catches on fire due to the fact that the fertilizer is connected to the main building. Therefore, it would be classified as a burned down building. If that were to be the case, we would lose all the equipment. So our solution to that is we're going to connect it to the tri-purpose building that has the chemical storage facility, the equipment washdown facility, and the blow-off area. That fertilizer room will be on the far west side of that tri-purpose building. So in the event that it does catch on fire, it's still going to burn down, but they're not going to use water to put it out, because water creates a carrier for that fertilizer and chemical to go down into storm drains and out into preserves where we don't want to. So therefore, it would be an environmental catastrophe if that were to be the case. So they just let it burn and contain the fire in that particular area. A lot of this equipment in here is leased, but it's undercover. It is on a 4-year lease, so any repair and maintenance that this equipment receives is sometimes minimal depending on how useful it gets. All right, so I wanted to show everybody the equipment that sits outside at this point. All this equipment is proposed to be stored into a 1,200 square foot equipment storage facility. That's going to house all these tractors, all of our summertime aeration equipment. Just because right now the way they're sitting, it's not protected by the sun, which perhaps cracked this tire right here, which is about a $700 fix. This stuff does not get used every day like a greens mower or a triplex mower. It still gets used, it still makes us efficient when we come to airify in the summertime. Having it sit outside, not being used when we're not using it, just limits its life expectancy. Therefore, we need to have it sitting in storage so it's protected.